called Storybird.com. Storybird allows you to create an account. You can create an account using Google, or you can just come up with your own account like I did, and your password. This is what you see when you log into Storybird. Storybird is a place where students can come on and create a chapter book, a picture book, or even a work of art such as poetry. So this is what you see when you log in. Okay, let's say that you would like to create an account. You would like to create an account for your students. Okay, there's a tab for students. You can add or invite students, you can move students, and you can even get invitations. We'll get there in a second. Add or invite students. You can create a username for all of your students, or you can allow them to create their own account with their own personalized username, and all they will need is this password right here. Now, if you click Get Invitations, it shows you how it gives an example of how the student should go on to Storybird and create his or her account. Also, it shows the parent. It tells the parent exactly what Storybird is, and it shows them how they can log on to view their child's work throughout this process. Okay. Now, I love the fact that parents can be involved on Storybird. Parents can have private access to their child's personal works of art or creativity or whatever they want to call it. They cannot see the work of any other student. They can only see their child. So the teacher is the only person who can see anyone's work. Parents can only see their child, and every student can only see what they are creating. Okay. What's really cool about Storybird as well is that anything that students create can be made into something we can hold in our hand, can be made tangible. So if they write a picture book, that picture book can be made into a hardcover book or a soft cover book or even a digital download that they can download into their Kindle or iPad or phone or whatever. But their creation, their words, their picture choices can be made into a book. So parents will love that. As teachers, we want to create assignments to keep our kids on track. So I've already created a couple of assignments and I can't wait to get started. But all you have to do is create an assignment. Okay, come up with a title. Say all about me. Okay, in this description, create a poem that tells about you. Let's say it's the beginning of the year and you want to know a little bit more about your kids. So create a poem that tells more about you. Okay. There are different types of artwork, and I can show you that when we get to the create section of Storybird. But there are different types of artwork. We can choose a specific artist that I want. I can choose an artist I want them to use, or I can use a tag. And by that, it's like school. Let's say, I want them to come up, all these pictures that show up, it's all going to be about school. Okay. I don't really want to limit my kids, so I'm just going to allow them to use all artwork because who knows what artwork they'll choose and that will describe them. And if I limit them, then, their choices go down. The format, there are 3 choices. They can create a long form book, which is a chapter book. They can create a picture book, which is mainly pictures with fewer words. Long form is all words, few pictures. Or they can create a poem. Well, since my instructions say create a poem, I'm going to limit them for this one assignment to create a poem. Okay. You can include a word list. If you have words that you've been working on, you can enter any of those words there that you think that they should be able to use in writing their poem or writing their story. But when you're doing a poem, it's really neat how it's done, and I'll show you that in a few minutes. You can create a due date. Okay, give them a little time to get that finished so they can get all their creative juices flowing. And we want to save the assignment. When the students log on, they will see that they have an assignment. Okay, and they will have to click do this assignment. When they click do this assignment, it's going to take them to the same page as the create tab does up here. So I'm going to press do this assignment, and this is what you see, okay? There are many different pieces of art to choose from. And since this one is entitled All About Me, I'm going to think of something that I love. And something that I love is coffee. So I typed in a keyword to help me find pictures dealing with coffee. Okay? So any of these pictures I can choose to write my story on. Or, well, I'm doing a poem, so to write my poem on. So once they find their artwork, they can choose that artwork. When you click on an artwork, it also shows you other pictures done by this artist. And so when they see that, maybe this is an artist they like. So they can go down here and look at other options available. So let's say I choose this art. I click use this art. Now, for my assignment, I told them to do a poem. That was what my assignment was. So for this example, I'm going to show you a poem. I'm going to choose a poem. So when the students click on poem, this is the screen that appears. We have the work of art that we chose, and we have words, okay? Words, we pull the words and literally just drop them onto the piece of art. Okay, whatever, coffee makes me happy. So I think coffee is amazing. Coffee is my favorite. So, they can just drag words onto this picture, however they would like, in whatever order. Also, they can change the color of the words. And if they hate these words, they can come to down here to this little refresher looking button, and they can refresh the words. When they do that, all of the words go away. All the words that you currently see on the screen, they go away, and they get new words. Okay, so this is how they create a poem. When they finish, they go to menu. They can either publish it if they're finished or exit if they want to keep working on it. Exit without publishing, okay, that's okay because I'm still working on it. Okay, now here is my stuff. I went to you and your stuff because this is my stuff. This is what I've been working on. So this is a completed poem for me. I've quote unquote published it. Okay. Now I have the option to buy. I can buy a canvas print. I can buy note cards and envelopes. And I can buy a greeting card download where I can print things. I can print greeting cards off and send them out. And it's all of something that I wrote and I created. So that's really neat for our students to have that sense of ownership, to have in their hands something that they have created. And with Storybird and the help of parents and their pocketbooks, they can help students do that. Okay, so let's go back and let's look and see if we wanted to create a picture book. Okay, so finding something that we want to write about, looking at all of these different things. Okay, there are so many things to choose from. It's amazing. So let's say I want to do a little story about a night camping. And I remember whatever picture is chosen, all of these down here are by the same artist. So if a child really likes an artist, they can look down here underneath the pictures for those artists. So I want to use this art. And for this one, I'm going to create a picture book. This is what it looks like when you open to create a picture book. Okay, now I've already chosen my first piece of art. There it is on the right-hand side. On the left-hand side, I start typing. Begin story here. Okay, whatever kind of story your child or the students want to write starts here. Okay, now if I want to add another page, which all good storybooks are, more than one page long, so I'm going to do that. Now I can look over here. These are all pictures from this artist. Okay, so I'm still doing it about camping. Let's say I go walking during this camping time, and I see a beautiful lake. Okay, so then we continue writing here. Okay, now you can add as many pages as you would like, okay, by just adding this clicking this little plus sign over here. Now notice I have nothing on my cover. My cover is not ready yet. So I have 4 different cover styles I can choose from. I can choose from Classic. It chooses a piece of work that I used. I can type my title here. Okay. And then down here, they don't want you to use your first and last name, but you can use whatever your username is, and that is my username. I can change the color, okay, of the border. Okay. If I don't like that, I can look at the landscape version, which means my picture is on top and I type my title on the bottom. Or if it's a more personal task, we can look at a journal with different, types of backgrounds. Okay, and iconic. Choose different things there. Okay, this one will be a pretty cool one because they're camping, so they can look in the telescope outside. So that's how you can create your picture book. Save and exit. Now, as you save and exit, a new screen is going to come up, and if the student is finished, they're going to be able to publish privately, which means no one on Storybird is going to be able to see their work except for a teacher and parents. Or they can say, my story is not finished yet. If they click, my story is not finished yet, we go to the dashboard, and it takes you to all of your works in progress, I guess you could call it. These are my 3 things that are, I have 5 things that are unfinished that I can go back and I can work on, okay? I have 2 things that are finished. They're 2 little poems, one about a dog and one about coffee. And so those are things that I have already published. Another thing you can create is a long form book. Okay? Long form stories are like chapter books. Okay? They have very few pictures and they're mainly about words. So you can have different chapters. You can have a table of contents. You can have a chapter 2. And this is for your more lengthy projects when you are encouraging your students to write longer stories that have different chapters, different pieces of that story, and you want them to bring it together into a chapter book. That's essentially what this is. Okay. If you have access to any of these social media applications here, Google Classroom, Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, Google Plus, any of these things right here, they can click. If you have your Google Classroom synced to Storybird, then you can create assignments on Google Classroom for Storybird, and your students can just click on a link and it'll take them straight to Storybird. Or they can share what they've done onto their Google Classroom. Same thing with Twitter. If they can share those things that they've done through these websites once they've published them. But still, you can't print it off or anything like that until you have purchased the right to do that, because all of these pieces of art are done by a certain artist, and so in order to be able to print and use and share those things, you have to buy the right to do that. So that is a little bit about Storybird. I hope I've answered some questions. I really feel like that Storybird can be used to open up creativity of students that they didn't know they had. Finding a little piece of artwork can be that little spark of inspiration that students need to open up the true author inside of them. I plan to use this 9 weeks. Actually, we're doing a poetry unit, and I really would like to come on here and allow my students to create poetry using this application, because I really feel like, 1, they're going to enjoy it, and 2, it's going to open up their minds into things that they didn't think that they could do because they thought it was too hard. But this gives them that little bit of push into knowing that they are completely capable of doing things that we knew that they could, but they just need a little help believing in that. So I really recommend Storybird, and I hope that you enjoy it.